Damn. What a first episode. Now, I'm gonna be honest. When I first saw the trailer, I thought that it was gonna be really bad. I didn't know how it was gonna tie to the originals, right? Since this is more going for the Pennywise that's in the remake and that entire story. So I knew that it wouldn't make any sense for these kids to live. And the way that they were doing it, I thought, oh man, these kids are gonna survive. It's gonna be really dumb. I didn't really like how it fit into the story. I am so glad I was wrong. They went into a direction that it was like makes a lot more sense. I think there's going to be a big bloodbath like the next few episodes, since it seems like it's going to follow a different group of kids constantly investigating. They're just going to die. And I got to say, it's violent. This one kid right here, he went out like crazy, get ripped in half after being swung around in the air. The other dude freaking just gets killed off screen. Little girl who was just there tagging along, had barely any lines, dead. The only two that survived were that girl and that other girl, and that's it. Now, I was honestly pretty surprised, and that's where I give them the plus. Now, the issue is the rest of the episode kind of sucked. You know, you get introduced to like these characters with, honestly, now I understand why we barely got any backstory. They don't matter. But I feel like the backstory with the military, they all have to die, right? Because, I mean, there's no military action in the It movies. Nobody discovers anything. So they all have to die. An entire military base is going to vanish. But what about the other military? What are they going to think? And I don't want to be that guy, but the kid's acting wasn't that good either. It just wasn't that great, and I feel like they could have casted better. But I guess in this case, they didn't really care. They just wanted to like get kids that would be, maybe they wanted us to root for them to die, so we didn't feel anything when they actually passed, which would be a lot more funny. But I thought the whole beginning part with the kid that's just in the car and the entire family is kind of in a trance was pretty interesting. The movie scene at the end, you know, very gory. The two-headed baby, great. You know, the visuals look really good. I mean, it was a they definitely are able to get away with a lot more now that it's a TV scene. The whole birth scene at the beginning was super disgusting, but you know, I give them props for that. You know, we want to see gore, we want to see, you know, violence when it comes to it, because you know he's a big monster. Now, we haven't seen it yet. You know, we haven't seen Pennywise. We haven't really seen much of him. The only thing I think we saw was, you know, when the kid's on the screen, he has the two buck teeth. So I think obviously that was Pennywise in there, just looking like the kid. So I think that we're going to see a lot more monstrosities. I think the next episode, though, they are going to the sewers, and that's probably where we're going to get our first like actual scene of Pennywise, which would be interesting. I am interested definitely on like what the story with the army people is. It seems like we're going to follow some of the adult stories, which I don't really understand why, because most of the adults are blinded from all the stuff. It literally says in the other one that, you know, it's he really has more control over the kids, and the adults are always blind to it. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. And I'm sure that there's people who are more nerdy than me who will understand a lot more. But you know, it looked good. It was interesting. I give it like the first episode maybe like a 6 out of 10, just because like that whole ending scene was pretty good, and I really liked the way that the direction that they went. It was beautifully shot. A lot of the colors are really nice. Like I said, visuals, they're pretty good. I thought they were gonna cheap out on them, so I can't wait to see what they're gonna do for the rest of it. You know, it's looking good for now. I just hope that the acting goes a level higher. Anyway, thanks for listening, and have a good one.